Hi, I'm Tim Scales, the Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship and the host of In Your Business. Today I'm going to be meeting with an entrepreneur who really exemplifies entrepreneurship. When I think of entrepreneurs, a lot of times I will say if you're a true entrepreneur, you're changing things up. You might be doing something this year, next year, but within the next 5 years I'll see a change because that's what entrepreneurs do. Today we're going to meet with an entrepreneur who truly, she doesn't wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years. She has multiple things going at all times, which she's a true entrepreneur. She probably wouldn't be able to do that. So we're going to learn about all the things she's doing and how she's doing it and why she's doing it. So Melinda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tim.
So Melinda, what we'd like to do is I want to get to know you, the individual, and then we're going to go into the businesses that you own.
Okay, sounds great.
So did you grow up in the area?
I did. I grew up in the Fountain City area, and we actually had a family business that started in '78 back in Fountain City, Newport Carpet. So I grew up in business and around the community.
So that was your family's business?
It was. Mm-hmm.
And so you grew up within a family of entrepreneurs?
Absolutely.
And okay. Now, so as a child, did you know you were going to be an entrepreneur, or what were you thinking?
No, I didn't actually. I actually intended on being an attorney. So I was planning on going to law school after I got out of school, and that's what I'd always planned on being. Didn't quite make it there. And then also back in '82, I was drawn to Africa and thought I was going to be a missionary as well. So, which I currently am, but that was where my life was going, I thought. So
then, as a young child, you're going to be an attorney. Then you're going to be a missionary. You're still a missionary, but then you also become an entrepreneur.
Correct.
And so that's amazing. So let's start transitioning because I know you have a lot to talk about on the business side. So tell us the businesses that you own.
Okay. I have 2 nonprofits and then I have 2 profit businesses. With the, we'll just go back to the missionary part. I have a NGO, and it is From the Heart International. It's a humanitarian aid disaster relief organization. We do some domestic work, but our main service and goal is Mozambique, Africa. And then we have Being a Woman Incorporated, which is a Christian women's organization. We hold conferences and events in the area, around the country, and we also have done some worldwide. Then when we transition over to the profit side, which has really been taking a lot of my time lately, MW Designs is my interior design firm, and I've been doing that ever since Newport Carpet. And then we have Onda Gallery and Gifts, which they're all located at the same location in downtown Richmond. And with Onda, with all the purchases that are made there, we actually make a donation as a company to From the Heart International so we can touch lives outside of Richmond, outside the country, into Mozambique.
That's quite a list.
It is.
Okay, so that has got to keep you very, very busy.
It does. Yeah, life is different.
So when I think about that portfolio, do you have employees?
No. I take care of all the businesses on my own. Now I do have a board of directors with the From the Heart International as well as the Being a Woman. But other than that, I take care of all the businesses.
Okay, so how do you do that? So let's say that you need to go to Africa. Do you shut your business down for a couple weeks?
Well, with Onda Gallery and Gifts, we are a new company. So we just opened in December. So I have not taken off to Africa yet. So we will handle that at that point. I do have the benefits with the company itself. It is an art gallery. As well as fair trade and causes are a focus. And with the art gallery, we give opportunities for the artists that display and exhibit in the gallery to come in, and they spend time there for a Meet the Artist session. Okay. So about every day that we are open, we have different artists from around the area, and then quarterly we have them from the region come, and then the artists that are outside of the region will come on an annual basis, and we will do a meet and greet with them. And so that while they're there, then they operate the company.
You have a lot of activity going on.
I do.
And a lot of energy.
I do.
So early on,
it diminishes over time, you know.
Yeah, but early on, I have to ask the question that I normally
Sure.
ask at the end of the show.
Sure.
But how many hours are you putting in?
Well, especially ever since we opened the gallery, I put in probably, I would say 16 to 18 hours a day.
And are you doing that every day?
I am. I do try to take Sundays off to do it. And even though the gallery is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, I still have the other 3 businesses. So I have design jobs that I'm working on. So with the combination of everything, yeah, I put in quite a few hours.
Okay. When you speak of the design, is that residential? Is that commercial?
I do
or
both.
Combination?
Yes, I do both. I do it's interior design. I have done exterior as well, but the main focus is interior. And not only, do we do something as simple as, going out and giving paint colors to a client that maybe wants to paint it themselves but doesn't know, which route to take, all the way up to completely gutting a kitchen and starting from scratch and installing it. And then at that point, I do not do all the work. I do some of the work, though, and then I bring subcontractors in, and they will finalize the work.
Wow, wow. What an interesting combination of businesses,
It is.
though. I mean, you're getting to do some travel.
I do.
And you're getting to make a huge impact on others' lives. And then you're getting the gratification of being able to see the changes that you're making.
Right, right. And that's one of the commonalities with all 4 of the businesses is it is touching lives. I mean, and it does it in different fashions, but it's touching lives in one way or another.
So my question of asking you, why are you an entrepreneur?
I look at it, I think, more in the aspect of making changes in people's lives, I guess. So not as much as, okay, I want to own all these companies. I want to be able to touch someone, and this is how I believe that they could be reached or touched in one way. For instance, with the art gallery, when someone comes in to maybe purchase a painting as a gift for someone. So they are giving as a gift to a person, so they're touching that lives just by their actions of giving that gift. But in addition, they are supporting the gifts of the artist that was inspired to do this painting or this item. And that continues to touch their lives. And then from there, Onda, with the purchase, makes a donation to From the Heart International, which touches lives in Africa. So it's like a ripple effect, which
Sure.
actually that's what Onda means. It's Portuguese, and it means the wave. So with every purchase there, you're touching lives, and you don't know who you've touched, like the ripples of a wave.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first business that you opened,
Yes.
which one would that be?
I would say that would be MW Designs, just because that was a continuation from my time with Newport Carpet, because I was there for almost 30 years, and I did the interior design work at that point. It wasn't under the name MW Designs, but I actually did the design work there on a regular basis, and then continued it on.
Okay. So thinking about each of the 4, and the first one you opened to the second to the third to the fourth, what was that rotation? Was that because of an interest or of need? Was it because one needed the other, or was it just because you as an entrepreneur said, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, I think it was something that I saw needs in others, if that makes sense.
Okay.
When it comes to the nonprofits. And back in 82 is when I was inspired, and I give credit to God on that. I mean, He inspired me for Mozambique, Africa. I didn't even know what the country was until He whispered in my ear, and I'm like, what is this? And went to the Encyclopedia Britannica and found out what Mozambique was. So with that, my heart has been with that country, and I've worked with the people there. I have wonderful relations. I talk to them on a weekly basis. So that was an area that I just really developed a passion for the people. And then later on, being a woman, came into fruition in 2002, and I had been at a large conference the previous year that had 13,000 women, and so I just felt the need of doing it more on a local level to be more in the intimate setting on a smaller scale. So the conferences are conducted in the same manner as the larger events, but it's more on a smaller scale for more intimacy. So they provide the shopping and the dinners and the fellowship and the inspiration that comes with those. And then later on, back in 2006 actually is when I originally came with the idea of an Onda.
Okay.
And then it ties in with the other as far as the donations going to Mozambique. And I was actually living in Mozambique, Africa at the time that I was inspired for the Onda journey. And it took a few years to get to that point because I was in, the business world, still doing my design work when I returned from living there, and I continued working in the business world, in the industry. And I worked in the furniture industry for almost 10 years up on my return from Africa. And finally I made the decision, now's the time to go ahead and open the gallery. And I am an art show addict. So with me being that, I'm like, okay, I can put that here and bring it to Richmond. Richmond didn't have anything like that. Wayne County was not familiar with the fair trade. And so I wanted to give that opportunity to the people. So I don't look at it as my entrepreneurship per se. It's like giving this opportunity to the people to appreciate in areas that I've had the opportunity of appreciating, and let them enjoy that experience.
See, I think that's great, and that's true entrepreneur of you, though. You're bringing it out. You're bringing out the best of people.
Right.
That's why I enjoy working with the students here. At the university, we get all areas of business, and we also get several disciplines. So it's not uncommon for me to work with students in criminal justice, nursing, education, science, and so we have a minor in entrepreneurship, and a lot of those students pursue. And the reason is because as they're studying that, maybe they're saying, okay, I want to be a nurse.
Right.
And so they get their degree in nursing, but they find that maybe the arts, maybe they want to have a gallery someday, maybe they want to have something that expresses more of what their passion is.
Right.
And I feel like that's what you're doing.
It is.
And that's something that, I appreciate you doing the video today, because that helps me show them that they can do more than just what they're studying.
Right. And I enjoy the operations of a business. And I will say that when you've owned a company, like our family owned the company, and working in that aspect and taking care of all the business operations, and then when you close the company and you work for in another area and it's for someone else, it's totally different because you've got that drive in you to run the operations.
Sure.
So that aspect of operating a business, I do enjoy. I enjoy doing the prints for my design clients, and transitioning their spaces as well.
Sure, and that's got to be complicated at times, being able to do it all.
Right.
Because I know we talk about that in the School of Business. I mean, some people are going to be really good at marketing.
Right.
Other people are going to be good at finance, accounting. Some people are going to really love the HR side of it. It just depends.
Right.
But you have to do it all.
I do.
Now, your HR side, if you have no employees, probably isn't
It's
too
pretty
bad.
easy. Yes.
But everything from how about social media? Are you?
I'm learning it. I have noticed in a major way, because we closed our floor covering back in '04. So here we are 13 years later. Marketing is totally different now than it was back then. Back then it was print, it was radio, and that's where you knew your targeted market was. Not now. You've got, when you get into radio, you've got Cirrus, so it's like, okay, how many people are listening locally and how many's not listening locally? And then with print, what's the best print to go into? And then you get to the internet, you get to social media, and that seems to be the real takeoff in the marketing field right now. And I'm a novice when it comes to that. I play on the computer. I stay in contact with my people overseas, but as far as in the marketing, and I'm learning. I'm taking the Innovation Center is just a great resource downtown, and they offer different informational classes, them as well as the chamber, which is very beneficial. In helping with that marketing aspect if you do it on your own. And then once in a while you do need to pull in some outside, the professionals into it. But when you are a new and upcoming business, you try to learn as much on your own because you can't, go to the expense of all the marketing that way.
Oh, sure. It changes so rapidly.
It does.
I mean, you might think, oh, Facebook is it. And the next thing you know, people are saying, oh, Facebook isn't. You got to do, Snapchat, or you got to do Instagram, or you got to have a Twitter.
I just
you gotta
started
do all this.
Instagram, right.
and I mean, yeah, it's fun.
It is.
but it take a lot of your time if you're not careful.
It is, and that does. Before when you did, the print and the radio, I would write the commercials, I'd go record the commercials, and I didn't have anything to worry about for the next month. And now with the social media aspect of it, you almost have to be at it on a daily basis, at least do a post or do this,
Right.
and think about what you're going to do. So you can't just do it and then 4 weeks later, okay, I need to put another marketing package together. So yeah, it's different. I haven't bought a case of Red Bull yet, but I've considered
I imagine
it.
you're getting close. I mean, really.
Exactly.
And all those things create jobs as well, because there are people who do nothing but control and manage your social media sites.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's amazing, but it does come back to word of mouth.
Right.
Because even your social media is a network. Okay. So unless you have the followers,
Right.
you're still not getting your word out.
Exactly.
So you've got to find ways to get those followers.
Right.
And so you have to take the things that you were doing and mix them into the new mix of what you are doing.
Right.
And try to get the best.
Right.
And it's challenging.
It is challenging. When I have satisfied clients with the design firm, it's great because they do share it with, their friends and their neighbors and their colleagues. And then I get responses from that because I do it both commercially and residentially. And I've done, businesses in the area and residentially. I've done it in the tri-state. So it's not just, here in Wayne County. So yeah, as the word gets out, it's beneficial to me, and you rely on that. And, my clients aren't just, you come in, you buy, and I don't see you again.
Sure.
It's a relationship that I like to develop with the clients of all 4 businesses.
Okay. Well, I think it's interesting because at the university when I teach, we're always looking for a new textbook, one that outlines things pretty well. In entrepreneurship, I had to customize my own.
Absolutely.
And I use my own.
I can see that.
And what happens is, today I feel like we could write chapter after chapter because the best way to learn business is not just to learn about it, but to do it.
You have to live it.
And you learn by your mistakes.
Right.
And you have challenges. What works today may not work tomorrow.
Right.
And actually what will work tomorrow may not work today.
That's true.
So you got to be willing to be open-minded, which I can tell you are. But really doing it is the best. And that's what you're doing. But one of the things in your business that I think would be challenging, and I think you probably mastered, is pricing. When I speak of that in class,
Right.
if we're ordering a tangible item,
Right.
you can add to that. You can have a percentage of markup.
Right.
You can however you want to set up your strategy.
Right.
But when you're dealing with art,
Right.
when you're dealing with design,
Right.
you're dealing with a service.
Right.
Can you please give me some advice on how to price?
Well, let's start with the art area.
Okay.
And that's the niche that the gallery has, is you're not going to go to you're not going to go to Kohl's or one of these other stores and say, oh, well, I'm going to go buy this painting, and then you go to your friend's house, I've got that same painting in the house. What you're getting at the gallery is unique. They're one of a kind. They're handmade. Painting, for instance, I've got a Rick Wilson that's an original. So no one else in this world is going to have what you have on your wall in your home. So when you go into the creativity and the time that the artist put in it, that's where you get your values, and you start building on that values there. When you go through a mass production, that's where the cost can be less, because they're everywhere, it's mass produced. But when you have the uniqueness of it being made by an artist and their investment of their person and their time and their product and its quality product, that's where you start figuring out what the value is to it, and to make sure that they're compensated as the artist for what they have done.
Sure.
Because they put their heart and soul in this, and that's worth something. That's worth something. And then the client is going to take ownership because of what was put into that item. And that's also helps when we have them meet the artist, because they take ownership in knowing that person that's connected. And so that's where I start building the values from it. because it's going to be different than some of the, I've got a few cause items that are mass produced, and so those are going to be a lower cost. But
Sure.
when you get into the uniqueness and the originality, that's when you start, figuring your different pricing. And then in the design aspect, when I go onto my clients' homes, I have an hourly rate that I do. We have it within the Richmond area. Then we have a different rate, of course, due to time outside of the area. So you build up on that as far as the value of what they're going to have. And my rates are low compared to most interior designers because I actually am not a licensed interior designer. I am a visionary that has worked in the business, for almost 40 years. And so with that being the case and not having the extra expenses involved of getting to this point, I can keep my rates lower for their hourly rate to them. And then based on what type of work I'm doing in the home is where the prices would vary, so I can go to a person's home and just hang their pictures for them, which people have hired me to do that because they don't know how to do a collage on their wall or where would be the best place to put this unique original painting, what would be the best place to put that versus when I go in and I do a complete remodel or a transformation of a space. And with that pricing, it's what time's involved, what contractors are involved, and what products it's going to entail. Okay. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
It does. I can tell that you have a system down. It's not just pick a price. I mean,
exactly.
It's really is almost a science.
It is, and it's to be fair to the client. As well as fair to myself in the business as well as my artist.
Okay, but the other thing that I'm picking up, and it's again, you exemplify so many things that we teach here, but time management. You have got to be very, very organized, and you have to be a strong discipline on time management. How do you do that?
Let's say I was better at time management before I opened the gallery. Just because, and I think what it is not only is it everything that we've discussed, but it's fun being with the gallery because you have all of these beautiful items coming in. And you want to arrange them, and you want to set it up, and you want to touch it. So that's one area that I'm like, okay, no, I've got to go do books today. I can't be out in the showroom playing around with making everything look wonderful. But I just enjoy what my people do, and I want to have them exposed in the best way to the public.
Sure.
So people can appreciate it. And so I get into that really big. So I'm having to start key down to that and it's like, no, I got to do that today. And so before that happened, you just have to set your time and your schedule as, okay, today, this is what needs done. These are the deadlines. Have certain days that you're going to be doing the books and the checks and the ledger, which, yes, I still do a handwritten ledger. I don't have complete confidence in the computer system right now, just like we experienced with the meeting today with the internet going down with the chamber. And so there's emails lost. So yeah, I'm not a complete confident in the computer system, so I do both. But you've got to make sure, and I've lacked this, I will say, since the gallery's open, to allow for yourself to be able to relax outside of the business. And just because I've been so busy trying to keep all 4 companies going, I've not done that, but I started taking at least one day a week, and saying, okay, that'll still be there on Monday. Okay. But you got to allow that for yourself, and I've experienced that in the past too. This has just been a jump-in thing, but in the previous, you do have to take a couple of days just to say, okay, we close. I'm taking off at 6. I'm going to go have a nice dinner, or I'm going to relax, and then that actually re-energizes you to be able to actually accomplish more when you're doing the books or when you're figuring a job. Sure. So you do have to allow that to space itself out.
Well, you do a lot, so I can appreciate everything you're saying. So what's the future look like?
For the gallery expansion, And I've really had a great response from those in the community, those who appreciate art. It was very interesting when we first opened. They're like, hey, when are you going to expand? And it's like, already, and I'm glad that they see that. They're seeing the vision that I'm having for the gallery as well. We have 20 more artists wanting to come into the gallery in addition to what we currently have. So to expand that out, actually to bring an additional business into it,
Okay.
that will be a good tie-in with it. And so I am planning on doing that in the future. And then with the other businesses, we have the conferences that go on and retreats, with the Being a Woman, continuous trips to Mozambique, Africa with From the Heart, and support. We just did a quarterly donation over to From the Heart that came in from the public, as well as where Onda gives the gifts, and it's open to anybody if they would like to give a donation to it. It is a 501c3, and we were able to help start businesses actually for 2 widows over there. So we did a microfinance with a couple of widows, so now they have places in the market, helped some young man with HIV to get medicines, and helped get mosquito nets and foods for them. So that is the trickle effect, the ripple effect that we're having with the donations from Onda, but also with those in the area, or actually around the country, they give donations to From the Heart. So we continue to serve and improve the lives of people in Africa with that. And then I've got several design jobs in the works with MW Designs. I've just finished up a nice job commercially, actually 2 downtown this year, and then working on some residentials now, and have some upcoming commercial.
You're doing
and
a great
always
job.
open. Thank you.
Linda, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for giving me the time, Tim.
This concludes another episode of In Your Business. Today we learned from an entrepreneur that's making a global impact, and she's doing it all because she cares for others. And that's a very important part of entrepreneurship, is caring for others. Thank you again for watching In Your Business.